What is poppin', y'all, everybody? It's your man, Clopboy Bales. Welcome to the final analysis episode of the season for the Green Bay Packers. Unfortunately, the Green Bay Packers dropped to their final game of the season, to the playoff game to the Philadelphia Eagles. The final score, 22-10. Kind of a low-scoring defensive game, but pretty much it was a game that, honestly, you could sit there and say, I wish it didn't go the way it did, but, I just hope that the Packers can definitely learn from this from next year, because I definitely think that even though this season had its ups and downs, I feel like there was some good positives that happened within this season. Like, let's remind ourselves that a year ago, we went from 9-8 to barely getting in the postseason as a 7th seed to being 11-6, still somehow the 7th seed. But it is great, We're the first team in NFL history to get 800 wins, and they did what they needed to do to fix their free agency issues. There was a lot that happened, and even the same thing happened. A lot of people who weren't healthy a lot, they obviously they had to address their concerns. Stokes had a completely healthy year. We wish, obviously, some of the injuries that happened later on in the season didn't happen, but we managed to stay healthy for a big portion of the season, which is a lot better than it happened. We happened to get a better kicker, I know he missed a kick today, but I know we happened to get a more consistent kicker, which is a lot better than what we had in the past. We lost Aaron Jones, but we gained Josh Jacobs, who obviously is a 10 times better running back and was really the reason why the offense had so much explosiveness, and that's what's really important. We saw Xavier McKinney had basically the best season of his entire career. 5 interceptions in the first 5 straight games of the season. Incredible stuff. And then even, and the defense definitely showed its improvements under Jeff Hafley. And I think that's what definitely is, I'm not sure if he's the guy yet. But I definitely think for where we were with Joe Barry last year to where we are now, I definitely do think we did improve. And I still think there is a lot of room for improvement. We unfortunately lost to probably one of the best teams in football, and I'm not mad about that. I think that there was a lot of disappointments. I didn't think we were as good as what we were. Definitely the Eagles are a better team than we are. But Jordan Love was not on his game. 12 of 33, 212 yards, and 3 interceptions is not going to get you a playoff win. 18 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown by Josh Jacobs on the ground, as well as 3 catches for 40 yards. Jaden Reed, 4 catches for 46. Wicks had 2 for 39. Tucker Kraft, 5 for 26. Emmanuel Wilson had a catch for 23. Bo Melton had a catch for 16. Dobbs had 2 catches for 13. Brooks, 2 for 9. Not really much from anyone else. Quay Walker led the way with 8 tackles. Isaiah McDuffie had 8. Colby Wooden and Isaiah McDuffie were the only 2 that combined for a sack. And Rashawn Gary did get a sack, too. I must have missed that one. On the Philadelphia side, Jalen Hurts went 13-21, 2 touchdowns and 6 carries for 36 yards. Saquon Barkley led the way, 25 carries, 119 yards. I guess you would have said that he would have gotten more, and a touchdown, but he obviously was smart enough to end the game, except the people who had parlays on him obviously were angry. And 2 catches for 4 yards. Devonta Smith, 4 catches for 55 yards. Dallas Goedert, 4 for 47 and a touchdown. Jahan Dotson had a catch for 11 and a touchdown. Only a catch for 10 yards for A.J. Brown. And that was not much for everyone else. Reed Blankenship led the way. 11 tackles. Nolan Smith and Zach Bond had 8. Nolan Smith had 2 sacks on the day. He had only 2 sacks. And Philadelphia, Zach Bond, Darius Slay, and Quinion Mitchell all got the interceptions for Philadelphia. Jake Elliott went 3 of 3 from the field for field goals. And I guess Philly did what they needed to do to get the victory against the Green Bay Packers. But pretty much the most important thing is how this game started. This game there was a very questionable call at the very beginning of the game. And it was clear that Keyshawn Nixon did fumble, but due to camera angles, he got it. It looked like he got the ball back. But for some reason, they ruled it Philadelphia ball. Now, I'm not saying, okay, maybe there was a lot to be said. You could even say that that could have been a penalty that knocked the ball out, but that's not. But, whatever it is, I don't, that's what basically started the game for Philly. It was a disaster from there on. Obviously, that's why Philly went with the opening touchdown, but the defense actually did its good job in Real Fortune. Obviously, it got tired in the second half. Once the game went on, then then the defense started to get tired. And, the reason why we lost today was on Jordan Love. You're not going to have a game you just can't have a game like that. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to cut it. And it's not all on him that almost every single player in this game got injured. First, Elgin Jenkins went out. Then Romeo Doubs went out. Then Jaden Reed went out. Josh Jacobs then went out. And then Josh Myers went out. We also lost Devontae Wyatt and Rashawn Gary and everybody just kept dropping, and Quay Walker. Everybody just kept dropping like flies. The injuries were just, even if they would have magically came back and won this game, what good would it have done? It's just, there is nothing that's really coming out of this that is going to be anywhere near it. Now, we don't know. I don't know officially where our draft pick is now. I think they don't finalize that until later. But again, I think we maybe would be like 23. I think 20, maybe about 23. I don't know. 23, 25, I don't know. But regardless, I gotta think, we really shot ourselves in the foot here. That this season has just been that way. I think, we did what we needed to do. I mean, we signed Josh Jacobs. We signed Xavier McKinney. We also traded for a backup quarterback. When Jordan Love was injured, Malik Willis actually provided something that was actually really smart. We made our 37th trip to the postseason in the franchise's existence. And this team is still young. I mean, everybody's forgetting about how young this team still is. I mean, everybody's going to grow. And I don't think it would have been different. I think with what happened, I don't think we would have made a Super Bowl run with all these injuries. Nothing was going right for us today. And, I don't think it was meant for us to win this year. I think it was going to probably take another year for things to kind of slowly get better. But I think they're on the right track. Free agency wise, I think there are some things that the Packers maybe need to do. It might be time to cut ties with Jair Alexander. I think that's a big talk. It's going to free up cap space. He hasn't stayed healthy for 2+ seasons. You also got to think about maybe you go after a wide receiver. Christian Watson tearing his ACL that late into the season is not what you want to be. It takes a full year to be at full strength. We might not even see him at all next year, which is a big concern. And that's his contract year. So you got to think about, what do you do here? Because clearly, I love, Dobbs, Reed, and Wicks are some great guys, but the Packers had the most drops. And a lot of it, Love, you can blame Love on production, but when your receivers are dropping passes, it's impossible for you to sit there and go anywhere you want. Rip on Love all you want, but when your receivers are dropping passes and nothing's going your way, it's going to be a difficult situation. Yeah, go ahead. Rip on Gluty. Rip on LaFleur. Rip on Love. I don't want to hear that because, yeah, this team's young, and I think you got to, think positive about these things. I went in this game hoping for the best, but clearly we lost to the better team. And it is what it is. So that's that. That's the season. It may have not gone the way that you want it to go, but I think, it'll be I think in all essence, I think that next year can be a year that the Packers finally break open. I hope that's the case. Now, if we're still the same, then we have a lot of issues. But right now, I still think they're at the point where they're really starting to look for what they need to do. I think this free agency is going to be a big one for the Packers. They need to address a couple positions. Edge rusher obviously was a huge deal. Barely could even get any sacks this season. We had to do a lot better at that. Also, we need if we need to replace Jair, got to go for a corner. A lot of depth spots, is very important. Josh Myers is likely departing. We'll likely need a new center to replace him. We'll see what they decide to do, who they decide to sign. Maybe a wide receiver is the best option at this point. They have not signed a wide receiver in some time now. I mean, I don't remember the last time the Packers actually signed a wide receiver, like like an actual wide receiver. I don't know the last time that's ever happened. We've always drafted these guys and they've stuck around. So, a lot of questions I think need to be answered. So that's that. One more game, obviously, tomorrow, Rams-Vikings. That's that. And then, of course, I'll be going on the next obviously, couple weeks. Obviously, still got a couple more games to go over. I'll still do my weekly Wednesday predictions, as always. And now that the Packers season is officially over, I will be finally starting my new podcast, What's Brewin'? Starting tomorrow. My first episode will be tomorrow. I can't wait for that. And anyways, if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts. Not everything goes your way, but you got to move forward and hope that you can move on and think the best can happen in the future. So we will see you next time. Go Pack Go.